10th Emergency Special Session of the General Assembly adopted by an overwhelming majority a resolution calling for an immediate and durable humanitarian pause, leading to a cessation of hostilities. This reflected the widespread call on the part of the international community. Regrettably and unacceptably, however, Israel, turning a deaf ear to the common concerns of the international community, has chosen to further escalate its military operations in Gaza and formally declared the launch of a ground assault. Having one of the highest population density in the world, Gaza is a land that has been under blockade for 16 long years. The 2.3 million innocent people are living in utter fear amidst the indiscriminate bombardment and have been cut off from water, electricity, food, and fuel for 21 days. Just this past weekend, they experienced a communication blackout that lasted for nearly 36 hours. If left unchecked, the situation will spiral further out of control and an even greater humanitarian catastrophe will be inevitable. We express our deep sympathy to the people in Gaza who are struggling on the brink of life and death, and we are equally, if not more, deeply worried about the Middle East peace process, which is on the brink of collapse. China solemnly calls on the parties to the conflict to cease all hostilities, disengage immediately, set in place a humanitarian truce, and make every effort to prevent the situation from escalating further. China solemnly calls on Israel as the occupying power to fulfill its obligations under the international humanitarian law, lift its siege over Gaza, immediately rescind its evacuation order, and expeditiously restore the supply of basic necessities so as to prevent an even larger humanitarian disaster. China solemnly calls for intensified diplomatic efforts to facilitate the release of the hostages without delay and to work on this basis to seek to open up space for dialogue so as to return to the track of a political settlement. The decades-long history of the Palestinian-Israel issue has taught us that military means are not the solution. Absolute security cannot be achieved by imposing collective punishment on civilians, and responding to violence with violence will only exacerbate hatred and confrontation. We call on the parties to the conflict to abandon their blind faith in the use of force and commit themselves to breaking the cycle of violence and achieving common security. There is no firewall in Gaza. It is a dangerous myth to think that a contained war is possible there. Allowing the fighting in Gaza to continue could very well turn it into a military catastrophe that will engulf the entire region. The situation in the West Bank and along the Lebanese-Israeli border has already sounded the alarm. We call on all parties concerned about the spillover of the conflict to devote their efforts towards promoting a ceasefire in Gaza. This juncture, silence means acquiesce, and inaction is tantamount to a green light. The eyes of the world are upon us, and history will record our choice. Thank you, Mr. President.